people have you killed?
Lord, I don't know.
10?
Yeah,
20?
probably.
30?
It's up there.
50?
But see, I'm not Billy the Kid making notches on my holster, so I know it's been a lot.
Most brutal killers reacting to death sentences. When someone commits a crime, they may not think about the consequences. But when they're faced with justice and imprisonment, all they can do is express remorse. In this video, we'll show you how killers reacted to getting sentenced in court. Let the countdown begin. Number 1, Ien Waros.
I'm okay. God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything. And, you know, whatever's on the beyond. I think it's going to be more like Star Trek, beaming me up into a space vehicle.
Waros committed a series of murders while working as a sex worker along the Florida highways from 1989 to 1990. She fatally shot and robbed 7 clients, asserting that in each case, these acts were committed in self-defense.
Sabotaged my society and the cops and the system. A woman got executed and was used for books and movies and
And that's a hell of a lot of men I went through before the next jerk came along and I used protection.
It was self-defense.
Yeah.
Did you kill those 7 men?
I killed them, I didn't murder them.
Explain the difference to me.
Okay, murder is first-degree murder in intent, and killing is something you have to do in defense.
So you're saying that all 7 of those homicides were justifiable?
In my belief, yes.
Waros had a challenging upbringing. She was born while her father was in prison and abandoned by her mother at the age of 4. She endured abuse from her grandfather and his friend because she became pregnant at 14 and had to give up her baby, leaving school with no support. Turning to sex work, Waros mainly targeted men between the ages of 40 and 65 for her killing spree. Her reign of terror ended with her 1991 arrest on an outstanding warrant, aided by her friend Moore, who collaborated with the police securing a confession for Waros and also testifying against her.
We were sitting on the floor watching TV, and she just come out and said, "I have something to tell you." And I asked her what, and she said that she had shot and killed a man that day.
In the courtroom, Waros took an unexpected turn, initially denying responsibility, then changing her mind after a decade spent on death row.
robbed him and I killed him as cold as ice. And I'd do it again too. I know I'd kill another person because I've hated humans for a long time. There's no sense in keeping me alive because I just would absolutely kill again. I've got too much anger, too much hatred in me.
Let's say the cops were following you.
Yeah.
Let's say they were following you and they did everything that you're saying they did. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
you killed 7 men.
Yeah, sure
And I'm
did.
asking you, what got you to kill the 7
And I'm
men?
telling you because the cops let me keep killing them, Nick. Don't you get it?
I am sorry that my acts of self-defense ended up in court like this, but I take full responsibility for my actions. It was them or me. I am sorry for all the pain that my actions have caused. I am prepared to die if you say it is necessary.
Ien Waros was executed by lethal injection on October 9th, 2002. Number 2, Erica May. Erica May and Shanita Latrice were 2 women who stood trial for the heinous crime of beating toddler Serenity Richardson to death. Erica May, who was the child's godmother, and her lover Shanita, faced the courtroom with the defense of claiming ignorance about the fatal consequences of their actions, and the sentencing in November 2011 was met with a dramatic and chaotic reaction. As the sentences were read, cries and screams erupted in the courtroom, and as the tension escalated with both women collapsing to the floor. Medics rushed to attend the fallen defendants. The emotional turmoil in the courtroom created a uniquely intense atmosphere that left a lasting impact. Number 3. Ricardo Richard Lavia Munoz Ramirez. This is Ricardo Richard Lavia Munoz Ramirez, also known as Night Stalker, a man who terrorized California from June 1984 to August 1985. Richard's method involved hiding in a tree or behind a fence watching his victims at night and waiting until the early hours. Then, under the cover of darkness, he'd enter their homes and commit murder. Ramirez experienced a traumatic and abusive childhood that influenced his disturbing interest. He delved into Satanism and the occult, often fueled by cocaine. Did the drug impact his brain? And did they alter his perception of the world? Possibly, but they weren't the cause. He was already troubled, having carried out a horrifying range of crimes from burglary to sexual assaults. From 14 months, the greater Los Angeles area and later the San Francisco Bay Area were paralyzed by fear with the sheer brutality of his actions, shocking even the most seasoned police officers. From brutally beating a woman in her 60s to executing someone upon entering a room, he used various methods, such as strangulation, ligatures, and a tire iron on a young girl. Ramirez would often use fear to manipulate and control his victims, forcing them to profess love to Satan. One particularly horrifying crime happened in April 1984 when he murdered 9-year-old Mei Ling in San Francisco. Mei Ling was found dead in the basement of her apartment building in the Tenderloin. A DNA sample collected in 1984 at the crime scene was matched with his. Ramirez's reign of terror ended when passers-by identified and chased him, apprehending him in East Los Angeles. The angry mob beat him severely until the police intervened, arrested him and took him into custody. Despite the brutal slaying, his justification in court was even more shocking. Ramirez was convicted of 13 counts of murder, and throughout the trial, he never showed any signs of remorse for his horrendous crimes. Here is what he said in the courtroom.
Parasites. You don't understand me. You are not expected to. You are not capable of it. I am beyond your experience. I am beyond good and evil. Legions of the night breed. Repeat not the errors of Nightcrawler and show no mercy. I will be avenged. Lucifer dwells within us all. That's it.
While in custody, Ramirez initially claimed not to know why he committed the relentless killings.
Why did you kill those people?
No comments. No comments. I cannot answer that at this time.
But he later provided some insight into his motives.
They are desires where if I didn't give in to them, I would be crushed.
While in custody, Ramirez first said he didn't know why he committed the killings.
Why did you kill those people?
No comments. No comments. I cannot answer that at this time.
But later shared some of his reasoning.
Why did you kill those people?
No comments. No comments. I cannot answer that at this time.
On June 7th, 2013, Ramirez died in a California hospital due to complications from B-cell lymphoma.
They are desires where if I didn't give in to them, I would be crushed by them. I believe in the evil in human nature. This is a wicked world. And in a wicked world, wicked people are born. I'm not going to blame society, my race, or people, or anything. It is up to the individual like myself to keep on knocking on whatever door they want to get into. A serial killer comes about by circumstances and like a recipe, poverty, drugs, child abuse. These things contribute to a person's frustration and anger. At some point in life, he explodes.
On June 7th, 2013, Ramirez passed away in a California hospital due to complications related to B-cell lymphoma. However, Ramirez wasn't the first serial killer to appear in court.
Number 4. Banny Duarte. Banny Duarte was a woman who committed a heinous crime that devastated the lives of 3 innocent teenagers and their families. She received a sentence of over 50 years in prison for her involvement in a tragic DUI crash. The crash was so severe that it caused the teen's car to collide with a pole and burst into flames. The cause of the tragedy was Duarte's reckless behaviour. She was driving under the influence and at an excessive speed of 79 miles per hour on a road with a 45 mph speed limit. During the trial, the parents of the victim expressed their deep anguish, referring to Duarte as an ugly, heartless, cold monster. The loss suffered by the families was immeasurable.
In California, the driver accused of killing 3 Valley teens has pleaded not guilty to charges. Banny Duarte is facing 3 counts of murder and DUI. Investigators say the teens were stopped at a red light near Huntington Beach when Duarte rear-ended them, causing their car to go up in flames. The 27-year-old's bail has been set at $4 million.
Upon hearing her sentence, Duarte broke down in tears and pleaded for forgiveness, expressing remorse and admitting that she had failed to consider the consequences of her actions. However, no amount of tears or apologies could ever bring back the lives that were tragically lost.
Him, his life, his future, his past, and what was present. I resent you for that, and I always will. You handed me and my family a life sentence that day. The least you can do is sit in prison for the rest of your life.
Duarte had been arrested 2 years prior to the Huntington Beach crash on suspicion of DUI, but authorities say that case was never prosecuted because of a processing error.
Number 5. Tommy Lynn Sells. Tommy Lynn Sells was an American serial killer known for his horrific crimes and facing charges for multiple murders in Texas. Although convicted of 1 murder, authorities suspect he may be linked to a staggering 22 killings overall. In fact, Sells claims uncertainty about the exact number, but admits responsibility for ending over 70 lives.
Or have you killed?
Lord, I don't know.
10?
Yeah,
20?
probably.
30?
It's up there.
50?
But see, I'm not Billy the Kid making notches on my holster, so I know it's been a lot.
Sells had a troubled childhood marked by alcohol abuse, drug addiction, and sexual molestation.
Sells had a troubled childhood marked by alcohol abuse, drug addiction, and sexual molestation. Introduced to alcohol by his grandfather at 7, his mother encouraged a sexual relationship with an older man named Willis Clark. At 14, Sells became a wanderer, travelling the country and committing various crimes. One of his most horrific acts was the New Year's Eve 1999 murder of Kayleen Katie Harris, whom he assaulted and stabbed to death. He also attempted to kill another girl, Crystal Surries, who survived despite a cut throat. Prepare for an even more disturbing revelation. Sells admitted he enjoyed killing for the thrill.
Last time I killed somebody, it was such a rush. It was just like that shot of dope. Every time I did it, it was that rush again. And I started chasing that high.
He also attempted to justify why he targeted children.
He also tried to justify targeting children.
Some get killed, yes.
Now, why would that happen?
I didn't want them to live through the pain I lived through.
Sells met his end on April 3rd, 2014.
Sells met his end on April 3rd, 2014, executed by lethal injection at the Texas State Penitentiary. He stopped moving after less than a minute and was declared dead after 13 minutes. Number 6, Elizabeth Escalona. Elizabeth Escalona, a Dallas woman and mother, committed a heinous crime against her own daughter. After physically abusing the 2-year-old and inflicting severe beatings, she even resorted to gluing her hands to the wall. The child was left critically injured and near death as a result of her mother's brutality. In the courtroom, Escalona, 23 years old, received an unusually lengthy sentence of 99 years in jail, surpassing the typical life term.
For a period of 99 years. The sentence goes into effect today. As required by law, you will receive all back time credits. Counsel, is there any reason in law why sentence should not be pronounced at this time? Safely held to be turned over to a duly authorized receiving agent of the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
When the sentence was read aloud, her reaction was intense though. Her face remains unseen, her body doubles over in shock, and she breaks into tears.
Be pronounced at this time. Safely held to be turned over to a duly authorized receiving agent of the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Please go with the bailiff.
Family, many aunts and uncles who cared for her, who were there for her and her children. Well, I think everybody has obstacles in their life, and the day that the justice system sends the message to people with obstacles that becomes some excuse for your bad behavior, for your poor choices, is the day that we should just open the doors of the jail up and let everybody out.
However, the most dramatic outburst came when Escalona's own mother, who screams in agony at the verdict. The sentence takes immediate effect, in accordance with the law, as emotions run high in the courtroom.
What do you want the people to know about your daughter? She was described as a monster for so many days in court, and people across this road.
Number 7. Andrea Cook. Andrea Cook, as a teenager, was involved in carjacking and armed robbery plots that resulted in the shooting of another teenager. When she was 18 years old, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her crimes. The reaction to her sentencing was so intense that it went viral. This video footage captured the emotional aftermath where Andrea's mother can be heard screaming, crying, and losing control.
Indicates you guilty of all 3 charges, sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
The sight of her mother's distress seemed to deeply affect Andrea, as she also had a strong emotional reaction to the sentencing. The entire scene was described as highly emotional and stressful to witness, reflecting the profound impact that the sentencing had on both Andrea and her mother. Number 8. Diana Lovejoy. Diana Lovejoy was a woman from Carlsbad and San Diego, experienced an intense reaction when the guilty verdict was announced at the end of her trial. Diana and her accomplice, Walden McDavid Jr., had conspired to murder her estranged husband, Greg Mulvillahill, amid a bitter divorce battle. Although Greg survived the murder attempt, Diana's involvement in the plot resulted in a severe sentence of 26 years to life in prison. The courtroom atmosphere became chaotic as the guilty verdict was read aloud. Diana's actions were so extreme that she fainted, completely overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation. The sound of guilty was followed by a thud, echoing the collapse of Diana's consciousness.
Versus Weldon K. McDavid, defendant. Case number SCN 363925, DA number OCD 980. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant Weldon.
Diana's unconscious body was swiftly attended to and she was subsequently transported to a hospital for medical treatment. The incident left no doubt that Diana Lovejoy's emotional turmoil had reached its breaking point, culminating in her dramatic collapse within the courtroom. Eventually, she was carefully removed from the premises on a stretcher, her fate sealed as she embarked on a long and arduous prison sentence.
David, guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
All right, we're going to need to take a break. And if we could have, the jury go back into the email.
Okay, folks. Okay, at this point, we need to clear out the courtroom. Let's go.